StarCast is proudly sponsored by Doghouse Systems. If you use the code StarCast or Biscuit at checkout, you will get double memory on your next Doghouse system. Kyle and I thank Doghouse for their support and awesome codes. Additional support comes from Penna Starcraft from Italy. He wants to shout out to his Italian friends and players, and he writes, to the Rome StarCraft 2 gamers, Beefman, Bed, Nuyo, I butchered that, Sion, Kernak, and Lex from the Noob Master Pennacraft. Also, additional support comes from sc2quoteoftheday.com. Daily quotes from the StarCraft 2 community. The site may suck, but the quotes are sick. Once again, that's sc2quoteoftheday.com. And also by hotkeyit.com. Launched in 2011, Hotkeyit is the leading StarCraft 2 video training site available. Spearheaded by such players as Spanishiwa, Vibe, Desro, and Inca, Hotkeyit is dedicated to providing a more cost-effective option to traditional one-on-one coaching with the aim of making you a better player. Once again, that's hotkeyit.com. If you'd like to support StarCast, you can do so at thestarcast.com. Now, everyone, relax and enjoy episode 86 of StarCast.
It's about damn time for StarCast.
Incoming transmission.
Biscuit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 86 of StarCast, the StarCraft podcast. I am your host, Garrett Weinzierl, and with me today, as always, is Kyle Ferguson. Kyle, how you doing? It's feeling a little old school in here today.
I know, it's strange. We don't have a guest. Well, we do have a guest this week. Later in the show, Look No Hands, Matt Fink will be joining us from Korea. He's still out there catching the GSL live. Going to be a lot of fun talking with him about living in Korea and seeing the GSL. So that'll be happening in esports today. But other than that,
you might be doing that. I'm going to be talking to him about how jealous I am that he's over there watching the GSL.
Well, there's been a lot of TVTs for you to enjoy.
Yes, there has. Watched so much Marine King this past week. It made me so very, very happy.
I don't remember who it was. Someone tweeted at us. They're like, hey, I'm so excited. I'm showing my girlfriend so-and-so between so-and-so knows a TVT. And I was like, no, don't start her off with a TVT. She won't understand.
You know, I was going to talk about this in Ion Esports, but I'll talk about it a little here. I love TVTs. I really enjoy watching them. I hate playing them.
Yeah.
I'm awful, but I love watching them.
That was Madigan in the chat room, apparently.
What was that?
Madigan in the
What
chat
about
room. Oh, he was the one who had the girlfriend.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I mean, you can't start out with that. You got to have, like people versus aliens. So everything makes a little more sense.
Terran versus Zerg is the, when I think StarCraft, the first thing that comes into my mind is a Marine shooting a Ling.
Yes. But I mean, to your point, and we'll talk about this more later, the TVTs have been incredible, actually. They have been very large scale.
Good. I really enjoyed Tasteless and Artosis's comparison of TVT to being the closest to chess in StarCraft 2 matchups.
Makes sense. Positional, everything else. So, yeah. This year has been very exciting for StarCraft. We've had a ton of guests. We have tons of guests still lined up, some that we can't even mention yet, but I am so excited for all the wonderful guests that are still coming. I mean, we were excited about In Control, and we've got some other huge guests lined up, but not with dates yet, so we can't say them.
Yeah, exactly. However, there is an announcement I want to make before we get into this week's status report. There's a change coming to StarCast. We will be switching our regular nights starting, I believe, the week with In Control, which will be February 8th, will be the episode In Control will be on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we'll still be recording Thursday, January 26th with EG Machine as originally planned, so make sure you tune in for that. And then on February 15th, once again at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be joined by now former EG player Axlov. So a little more Protoss love for everyone out there. So great. Everyone, remember, starting in February, StarCast is moving to Wednesdays.
Yep. So, as always, you can check the forums when we make that post, or just send an email to the show, starcastshow@gmail.com, with question for EG Machine in the title, or whoever you want to ask a question of, and we'll make sure we ask it of them.
Indeed. And I guess since people keep asking me where they can catch the show live, I guess we don't talk about it enough. And again, you can go to twitch.tv/StarCast show to catch the live show and the King of the Hill tournaments that have been going on. Anyways, that's enough for announcements for the show. Let's kick it off with this week's status report.
Can we get a status report?
Welcome to this week's status report. Steel Series response to sponsorship drama. I missed this entirely. Kyle, you sent this my way. What's going on with Steel Series?
Oh dear. Well, they're pointing out something that's starting to develop in the StarCraft community when big companies like Steel Series need to make decisions based on their yearly budget. And they need to make decisions like who they're going to sponsor and who they're going to drop for that year. And they have a fixed budget. It really, when it comes down to it, it has nothing about them hating a player or not liking where that player has gone over the last year. I mean, many of these players who have had scandalous things, that's just more press for their sponsors. Who cares? But Steel Series ended up dropping Grubby this past week. And the Kim Rom is his name. And Steel Series was assaulted basically with tweets at them saying that people are never going to buy Steel Series again because they stopped supporting this player, thinking that it was something malicious, where in fact it was just the yearly budget was small and they had to make tough choices.
Oh, all right. Well, that sounds horrendously understandable.
Yes, I agree.
And who's going to stop buying Steel Series stuff? It's kind of good.
A lot of people. I mean, this was a pretty big drama. Luckily, this guy wrote out a big old article you can see in the show notes, basically explaining his side of the story. I mean, why this really doesn't matter. We're still all huge fans of the people we love, even if we can't give the money to support them.
Gotcha. All right. So, Kyle, did you try to, do you have any essays to write yesterday or did you want to read some Reddit?
Well, luckily, I mean, not luckily, of course. I mean, poor Brockett of Biggest Fan. He's going through a lot of trouble right now. Had to take a train all the way from Chicago down to Florida because of his eye surgery coming up. Because, well, if you think about it, there can't be any pressure because there's pressure on his eyes. That's why he's getting the surgery. So he can't go in a plane because it'll cause more pressure and his eyes might explode. It's a horrible idea.
Oh, God. Really?
Yes. So
wow.
I preface all that with luckily I didn't have a Biggest Fan this week because otherwise come yesterday, Wednesday, when we record Biggest Fan, I wouldn't have had anything to look it up on.
So you're saying that you wait till the last minute to do Biggest Fan?
Well, I watch all the movies and stuff, but when it comes down to getting summaries, dates, release, like if I want to look up every Disney movie that's ever come out, where do I go? I go to Wikipedia.
Oh, you see, I go to the frozen corpse of Walt Disney.
And pray to him?
Yes. No, I psychically link up with him. Anyways, yeah, so in case everyone out there in internet land missed it, a lot of sites went dark yesterday or went down for 24 hours, 12 hours in the case of Reddit in protest of SOPA and PIPA. Reddit, of course, probably being the one that affected us StarCraft fans the most since, we all love to go and look at all the shiny new pictures on Reddit.
Well, not to mention everyone who's ever had a desk job ever in the last 4 years.
Yes.
I mean, that was probably the most boring day of work for a good majority of people.
I will definitely, as someone who has a desk job, yes, it sucked. It was awful. And then like something would come up on a podcast I was listening to and I'd be like, oh, I want to look up that actor or something. And I go to Wikipedia and it's like, oh, crap.
Well, it did kind of fade, so you could do it like really quickly if you wanted to.
I can't type that fast. So anyway, there's some pictures in the show notes if you missed it to see what Reddit looked like set down. It says like when you went to the Reddit page, it says SOPA and PIPA damaged the internet. Today we fight back, and it was all this stuff explaining everything. So Reddit went down for 12 hours. Google blacked out their logo. Wikipedia just went completely down for the whole day with this incredibly haunting message that said, "Imagine a world without free knowledge."
And for one of the first times in my life, I truly felt what it was like to be a hipster because I was looking at this stuff and I'm like, What didn't we? And the best thing about it was going.
Didn't we do this
Facebook.
a month ago?
I mean, I have been explaining to people I know why this is such a big deal, and they've been like, I'm just not getting it. I don't understand the problem. The sound, mega upload, that sounds fine to me. I don't even use the darn thing. And then this happens, and everyone's like, oh, sign this petition. Oh, Google, sign it right now. I'm like, you guys, I was talking about this.
We've been telling you this for like months now.
Now, of course, you can say, oh, good job, internet. Way to be late. Way to do the big issue when it's already on the shelf. No, it's not on the shelf. Sadly, there are other legislations that could be passed that could still be just as damaging, just less so.
Well, the thing that's the first big, win for us was this past Friday. The most offensive portion of SOPA, which was the DNS provision, was pulled from the bill, meaning movie companies and other entertainment media couldn't go out and just have a website pulled down for copyright infringement. So that pretty much neutralized SOPA to begin with. But then the following day, Saturday, the White House officially took a stand against SOPA, which was, kind of the killing blow to that specific bill. But it's still a very good thing. Yes, there's threats still looming, but I think I say we as the internet conglomerate proved today that it's not going to be that easy to screw with us in the future.
Yeah, well, and sadly, some people have gone out of their way to prove that more than others. The anonymous hack, what do they call themselves?
Well, there's Anon, which is anonymous.
Yeah, there's anonymous, but they were calling themselves hack protesters. I don't remember the exact word.
I'm not sure.
Hacktivists. That's it.
Oh, there you go.
Today there was a big legislation against mega upload, or the government went in and took down things off of mega upload for copyright infringement, basically saying, all right, well, SOPA's not going to pass, but we're still going to hit these specific sites. So what did the hacktivists do? They went out and targeted whitehouse.gov, not .com. I made that mistake in middle school. Do not type that in the computer.
I think they've changed that since, by the way.
Okay, good.
I don't think that is any longer a CD website.
Okay, because I was once like, okay, I'm just gonna look up some stuff for school. I have a government project.
Yeah, let's. I'm gonna take one for the team here. Yes, whitehouse.com is no longer a porn site.
Okay,
so we're good. All right. Well, now I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping I'd get to do StarCast and see some naked women, but alas,
can't have everything.
No, I cannot have my cake and eat it too.
But yeah, they took down some big sites
for Katie to bust in and beat me.
They targeted whitehouse.gov. They took down the Universal Studios website, not the park, but the actual movie company. And you're thinking, and there's all sorts of people that are tweeting like, I'm going to celebrate SOPA going down by downloading everything tomorrow. And you're like, man, that's not how you deal with
missing the point entirely.
If anything, you should buy everything on Steam and maybe Origin if you can get it to work.
Yes. Oh, God, Origin. I'm so glad that Origin doesn't really have to be used to play Star Wars The Old Republic like everyone was afraid it was going to need to be originally. Because I remember a lot of my friends were like, oh, I need Origin to play it. I'm not playing that piece of garbage. But I've yet to have to even touch Origin. And I don't know. I'm very glad because Origin blows. I hate it.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get angry at Steam because I still don't have Half-Life Episode 3. So get on it, Valve.
Yeah. I mean, Dota's fun and all, but Valve, man, this is that's the game. Yeah. At any rate, I also enjoyed Day 9's protest. That is a haunting picture of his empty chair.
Yes, his empty chair in his room. Yeah, that's very horrifying. The only thing that could have been more, I think he should have just put himself on a cross. I'd like to see the crucified Day 9. I think that would have been a lot more punishing.
Tied up with Ethernet cords.
There you go. Done. Absolutely done. Yeah, again, if you go to the show notes on the StarCast.com after this airs, there'll be pictures of all of this. Anyways, we also got a call in from Silo who wants to talk about SOPA and tell you how you can contact your representatives to tell them your opposition on these bills.
Hey Garrett and Kyle, also all you biscuiteers, this is Silo, Diamond Level Zerg. I really appreciated the SOPA PSA episode back in December, And since I am currently the Government Affairs Coordinator for a multinational corporation, I figured I would lend my expertise on this matter. First, I want to say that absolutely everybody listening to StarCast should absolutely call their congressman's office. But you should also call your senator's offices too, as in both of them. Everyone has one congressman and 2 senators. If you think your call won't matter, you're wrong. Congressional offices get a lot fewer calls than you might think, and there's a good chance that your call or email might be one of only a handful that actually come through from one of your congressman or senator's constituents. Okay, now there are several ways to contact your congressman. Basically, just type into Google, how to find my congressman, I want to write my congressman, I want to write my senator, and then there are plenty of sites that will let you search by your address or your zip code to figure out who represents you in Congress. Alright, now, once you get the phone number, there are 3 easy steps. You call the office, give them your name and your hometown. This is important because otherwise they won't know if you're a constituent. Second, voice your concerns clearly and concisely. Remember to be very polite. And finally, urge the representative or senator to oppose the legislation. Either SOPA if they're in the House, or PIPA if they're in the Senate. You will probably be speaking to an intern or an assistant, and that's fine. They'll summarize your concerns for the congressman. I know because I've done it before. The House reconvenes on January 17th, and the Senate is already back in session. So make sure that you call before they get a chance to vote on these laws. With no objection, I offer my continued services as StarCast's Government Affairs Office in D.C. If you want the biscuit to be America's national food, no problem, I got you covered. If you'd like President Obama to endorse 6-pooling, done. Alright, and just so everyone knows, I've emailed a more detailed script to the StarCast email so that they can show you the links in the show notes and give you a little bit more of a detailed run-through about how you should handle calling. And if anyone has any additional questions, feel free to email me at manowaffle@gmail.com. This is Silo. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Silo, and I, for one, think you should change your name to Man of Waffle.
I like that. And it's nice to talk about this without sounding like some crackpot theorist.
Yes.
Wikipedia made it real this week.
Yes, thank you, Wikipedia. Thank you very, very much. So, we also got an email from listener Yo, which makes me laugh because it's an awful name. He says, from what I've heard, the Entertainment Software Association is in support of SOPA, which is not only short-sighted and outright stupid, it's only going to bite them square in the ass in the long run. Since E3 is the ESA's main means of revenue, it has been suggested that we, as members of the gaming community, to boycott E3 and all coverage thereof in order to pressure them to reverse their stance on SOPA. I think that this is a great idea of which we of the StarCast community should participate in. Hit them where it hurts, their pocket. He says, here's where I got this. There's a YouTube link that you can check out in the show notes. He said we should also consider pressuring Activision Blizzard because they're in favor of this too, or at least the Activision part is, from what I understand. I could be wrong about this. Either way, as members of the StarCraft community, we should at least pressure them to pick a side and make their position on SOPA clear, especially since it won't be good for business or esports. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one. That's all for now. I do believe that you are wrong about the Activision Blizzard thing. I heard that as well, and I forget which outlet I heard that from. They had to print a retraction. It was Electronic Arts that was supporting SOPA.
Yes, which they were a part of, but they have now denounced, or not the community, but they're kind of like, sort of like, they got their pinky in the pie, but they're not really committing to it.
Yes, yeah. So, well, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't matter if they support SOPA, because it's dead.
As it is. It could come back as a zombie.
Yes. Yeah. But as long as, I don't know, as long as it doesn't take down, as long as DNS is gone from it, I'm not nearly as afraid as I was before.
Oh, speaking of zombies, you know who surprisingly wasn't a zombie? I went and saw Bryan Adams in concert this past week.
Who's Bryan Adams?
Bryan Adams, the dude who sings the theme song for the Robin Hood video, Summer of '69. Oh yeah.
Oh, gotcha. He's not a zombie.
No, he's not. He was actually very energetic. I took my girlfriend to it, got us box seats for our anniversary. It was cute. She knew like every song, apparently. Like she was like, yeah, I'm a fan, but apparently she was like a fan.
Gotcha. Well, that's what happens when people take me to Green Day concerts. So Well, anyways, that's great. And again, good news about SOPA, everyone. But don't let up. Still contact your representatives. Let them know because it's still out there. The co-author of the bill actually is no longer supporting it, but the author is still blindly supporting it like an idiot. So please contact your representatives. And before we move on to strategies, I don't know what reminded me of this, but I wanted to make mention of this. I just wanted to thank listener. I don't know if he wanted his name mentioned, so I'm just going to call him Duran. You know who you are. Thank you for your donation. He apparently sent me a little money for my new computer fund, and I really freaking appreciate it.
That's awesome. Well, you've been having it like crash and freeze on you and all sorts of
things. I'm not kidding. Like last night I was playing some Star Wars and it shut itself off like 4 times.
Yeah, I overheated last night as well. Granted, I had a whole day's work of tabs still open in Chrome, which is a rather taxing program as it is. I had music blaring and I was in the ZVZ. So, it was my own fault in that case.
Yeah, that's totally on you. And also, I was so ticked. I didn't notice how bad I sounded last week. When I was editing the show, I sounded like crap. So I apologize to the listeners from last week. My internet's been finicky. My computer's about to explode. And this is by no means a plea for money. I just wanted to thank Duran for his donation. Anyways, it's time for strategies. Or wait, no, there's
no, stop that!
Stop the bumper!
Drop right
Stop
now.
it! Stop
we
it!
have things to say.
Stop that drop! I forgot we had an announcement about strategies. This is a show of announcements. Yes, it is. Strategies is going bye everyone. At least for the time being, it is on hiatus for a while because we have so many guests lined up that we're going to be asking your strategy questions to them as it relates to the race of choice. So if you have sent in a Protoss question, it very likely is being saved for when we have a Protoss on and so forth with Terran or Zerg.
Yep. So I know we have like 3 Protoss questions and long ones too that have just continued to get moved from show to show because we're like, no, we're not going to touch this. We're going to wait for in control. Now we have another Protoss we get asked about that. But I'm sure strategies will come back as it was and as it would be with Heart of the Swarm because, there's going to be a whole
slew of things to talk about.
A whole tidal wave of people having ideas. And that's what strategies was about. But now that we have all these wonderful guests, I mean, we might as well just save them for them and save you our plat and gold explanations, which, by the way, I'm at plat 19. I'm very proud of myself. Been working hard at that.
Very nice. Congratulations.
I want some ZVZs.
There's so many no's, just as like, no.
I think that's from the stop the strategies.
Stop that drop. Someone said they want that shirt. That is a good idea for a shirt. Maybe I'll design that. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Strategies on hiatus for now. But don't, send them in. We'll compile them for when we have Terran, Zerg, and Protoss players on.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're not a big fan of esports, but you still want to ask a question, hey, we'll just save it for a pro. You'll get a pro's answer for your whatevs question.
Yep, or Mork whenever he returns to the fine world of StarCraft.
Well, returns to the fine world of StarCast. He's playing StarCraft once again.
Oh,
I've been urging him to go to MLG. Well, we'll announce when MLG is in the next section.
Well, there we go. It's time for Ion Esports.
From StarCast, this is Eye on Esports.
Welcome to Ion Esports and welcome Matt Fink. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's a Thursday. I'm ready for Friday, and I'm ready for the weekend. But other than that, how's things in South Korea?
They're going all right. It's been a little busy lately, but we're hopefully keeping up.
Nice. So, what are your highlights from the week? What have you done that's StarCraft related?
Oh man, all kinds of things. Okay, so we've been at a few GSL matches this week and had some good fun at Code S. We've been working on putting together a fundraiser for my project, yeah, that's taken up most of our time. I've done a few lessons with In Control that were streamed earlier this week, and we had a really good time. So
nice. Over the last month, what would you say has really stood out to you about living in Korea? Did you get the apartment situation worked out? Are you still working, living in a hotel, or?
No, we actually have the apartment situation worked out finally after a month and a half, so that's pretty awesome.
That's
I don't
good to
know.
hear.
Yeah, I'd say the coolest experience we've had so far is Code A qualifiers. So we had a really good time there. Both Cole and I made it to the second round, and we got a chance to meet a lot of really cool people. I got a chance to hang out with some of the TSL guys. We're going to be at the TSL house hopefully early next week. And I got the chance to play Nest T. That was really cool in a show match.
Badass.
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's what we've been up to.
Oh, very nice. Do you have a light on your desk? I can't see you.
Oh, man.
But I can see
not.
Cartoon Network in the background.
Okay, no worries. What was that
Yeah.
Cartoon Network? It's so small on my screen. Let's see. Yes,
Yeah,
it
I
is.
think it
So it is. Sweet. Wonderful. Well, very cool, man. I'm glad to hear that you're kicking ass out there and freaking got to play Nest T. Tell me you got pictures from playing Nest T.
Yeah, we have lots of pictures.
Okay.
And
All
I have
right.
a replay.
Good.
Wonderful replay.
Oh, nice.
Did he Baneling bust you?
Yes, he did.
Oh, no. Well, at least it was Nesty this time.
It's true. I think I was at 36 food and he was around 70. So,
Well,
That'll
that
happen.
Yeah. What are you going
Jinx. Well, nice. Well, we got some esports news to talk about. First up, and just announced today, actually, the first details for MLG 2012 have been announced. Much to my chagrin, they haven't announced every date. But
Nope, they are only doing the winter 2012 season.
Yeah.
Well, not
so
totally. That makes it sound like that's all they're going to do. No, that's all they're going to announce at a time, because clearly they are... Well, I think it may be a money move, because if you don't say when all the events are going to be, people are going to be like, oh, man, I got to get myself to an MLG like this one right now. Who knows when the next one's going to... Who knows where it's going to be?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, I need to know where they're all going to be so I can decide if I need to travel or go to one, or if one's coming to Florida, I can just kind of wait.
Exactly.
So, anyways, it says the 2012 MLG Pro Circuit will be made up of 4 distinct seasons, each with their own live championship event. They said that first, this allows us to make changes to our format and game lineup easily throughout the year. Second, it enables us to maintain a steady stream of competition throughout the year for our players and fans to enjoy. And finally, it helps to ensure that the best of the best are winning prizes on the Pro Circuit and that every player has a chance to make it big. So, well, that's very neat.
Now, if anyone else was reading this like me, I'm going, oh my goodness, they're completely getting rid of the pool. Because next it goes on to say that they're inviting people, 138 of the best SC2 players in the world based on the results and of notable 2011 SC2 competitions. And I'm like, no, that's the point of MLG, is to have these random people come out of the crowd and be awesome. But luckily that is not the case. It is just, first they're going to hold some online tournaments, which are going to be happening January 31st for the European, into February, basically, for Korea and North America. And they'll be streaming the games. There'll be some casting for that, but sadly, they won't be live because they will be pre-recorded. And, as I've said my opinion of NASL, when things get pre-recorded and the energy's not there and, you're not going, he's doing that right now on the stage, that's awesome.
Yeah, but, we're still going to have our giant MLG tournaments. We're still going to have a really awesome live content, so I'm not too worried. This is just kind of extra, icing on the cake as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, which is going to help them narrow down who gets the slots into what's it called? Receive the spots in the pool play immediately in, and 16 of these people from this tournament of 138 people are going to get everything paid for them to fly out there. So it's actually pretty cool that they're going to get, one, some big names to compete, and two, when they eventually get to Columbus, Ohio on March 23rd, they will still have the pool play.
Nice. Very nice. And Kyle, you said you're going to try and make it to that MLG, are you not?
I'm hoping. I mean, it's a state down, if it's right there, I might as well go.
Very, very true. The flights aren't horrendously expensive, so who knows? Maybe I'll go. If I could find out when the rest of the MLGs are, that would make my decision a lot easier to make.
I'm still going to keep...
making me jealous.
What? You're in Korea watching the GSL, competing in Code A against ST, like...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Matt. I just don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for you at all. Oh, God, I want to go to South Korea in the worst way. That's... you have no idea. Yeah, and it might just turn out I'll be too damn broke to go, so don't feel too bad for me. I'll be sitting right here watching it on my computer.
Well, I'll watch it with you.
Yeah, there we go. We can chat and poke each other just like, yeah, this sucks.
Well, I'm hoping to get Mork to go with me.
So
I can watch in the pool.
If Mork goes, I have to go.
Yeah,
I can't.
Exactly.
I can't miss like an actual StarCast meetup. Like that just.
He said it's something like his mother's birthday or something. I don't know. Bring her to MLG. What better mother's birthday is there than taking your mom to see Idra throw down? I mean, let's be honest here. Yeah, moms love MLG.
Yeah. Did I tell either of you guys my my haircut story?
No.
Okay, so when I went to go get my luscious mane cut off, I went in my Terran jersey, or my Terran shirt, and to the same lady I always go to, but she's like, oh, hey, so-and-so, this one younger girl who I didn't really know at the salon. Go shampoo Garrett and bring him up when you're done, and I'll start cutting his hair. So this young lady is washing my hair, and she just goes, oh, hey, I like your shirt. I'm a big Idra fan. And I'm just like, what? I'm just like, you this is like very stereotypical, very nice, pretty, clean cut salon girl. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm big Idra fan. And I'm just like, no way, this is not happening. And sure enough, her boyfriend's a huge StarCraft nut. So I was like, okay, all right, that explains it.
This may be a little creepy, and it's not like I actively go up to the windows when I do this, but when I walk by houses and I hear people go, oh, from the inside on the first level, I look in their window real quick to see if they're watching StarCraft. Usually, actually, I've never caught anyone watching StarCraft.
I was about to say, is it usually, like football or something?
Yeah, and I was walking around, the night that Skyrim came out, and I was doing the same sort of thing, just kind of walking along. I mean, it's the city. There's ground levels. There's windows open. And no one was playing Skyrim. I couldn't believe it. At any rate.
I agree with Naku in the chat room. That's pretty creepy, Kyle.
It's not. I don't actively approach the windows. I'm just walking my. It's their fault for being in the city on the ground level with their window open with no blinds.
You sure do know how to tell a story, Kyle. Starting it out with, it might be creepy, but.
It might be creepy, but I saved my toenails in a jar and put them in the fridge. Is that okay? That's what I was expecting for the follow-up to your "It might be creepy." So, anyways, that's all very exciting. Sundance, the dude in charge of MLG was interviewed in Forbes this past week as well. There's a link to that in the show notes, so go check that out. We had just a team leaving madness this past week. We had so many players leave so many teams. So here's the bullet list for you. MC left OGS for SK Gaming.
Which, to break that down, was not... Well, I guess from our side, it doesn't look like a big deal. What was there a Korean reaction to this?
Not that I've encountered yet. It's interesting because... well, at least what I found interesting about it is that Nada, right, the other player who was part of the OGS SK partnership, decided to stay with OGS. So I don't think it was terribly, unfriendly. It just, I think, was a little odd for a lot of fans who saw OGS doing really well, right? They still have, the second largest number of people in GSL right now, next to Slayers, who just passed them for the first time this season, I think. And so, it seems like OGS is on top of their game, so it's odd for them to lose, someone as good as MC, maybe even their ace, at this point. It seems like a really odd decision, but I'm sure MC has his reasons.
Well, I've heard one of them, he gets his own place.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I'd say that's a pretty good reason.
I mean, if you've been living in a house that long, you're the big star, like, and you're going to get some digs, like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be a tough deal to pass up, especially like after seeing in 2011 like how passionate some of his foreign fans can be. I would jump at the chance to have my own place and travel to more foreign events. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? What's next? You know, what's just a natural fit for this? StarCraft cribs.
That would be awesome.
And then you'd get to the EG house, and it would just be a total shitstorm.
Didn't Ratosis do something like that? He like toured all the Korean pro houses back in the day with one.
I think so. I don't know. I don't remember.
I'd have to look that up. But what I'd want to see is a chair that not only goes up into a dock where they play SC, it also spins and turns around, because that makes it, or has like the Batman slide from that awful movie where he's sitting in his desk and he's like, it's time to play StarCraft. Just woo, down in the pod, like luging there to the Bat Cave. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Have the bed like tip sideways so that the person doesn't even have to get out of bed. They just slide down the chair.
That's what those auto adjust beds were made for. SC in bed.
Oh, my girlfriend would love that. You know, the one time at night when she finally gets me away from video games, we get to, you know, lay there, watch some Jon Stewart, and actually have a meaningful conversation. Now I can play StarCraft while doing that too. I don't think that's happening in this house.
Well, haven't you seen the infomercial? That's why they have the two beds where one half can go up and one can stay down. Or you could just get those horrible glasses they advertise in like plane magazines that have the mirrors so you can watch TV while laying down.
There you go.
You know, those are just glorified twin beds, Kyle. That's just the first step to divorce. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, as much as I like eating in the bed, but you know, I'll stick to the king size bed. Some other players that left teams this week: Hart left TSL, or the SCP Life as they are otherwise known. Golden and Dragon both left Slayers. Spades left Team Rain, and Spades posted on Team Liquid that he will probably find a new home soon, but didn't go into any more detail than that, so I'm assuming he probably has something lined up. And then finally, Axlav and Strife Crow both left EG, which is really funny. I had the show notes written that we had EG Axlav coming on for the date because he's coming on the show, and I was like, oh crap, I just saw today that he's no longer on EG. So had to change that.
So are they just teamless right now?
The majority of these, I believe, are free agents with the exception of MC, unless I'm mistaken.
So I guess Axlav has a mystery team that he's eventually going to be a part of, but it hasn't been announced yet, and I don't know which team it is. Strife, I guess, is still going to be living in the lair until the end of the month when he moves out, and I think his future is a little bit more uncertain right now. I think both the Slayers players, Golden and Dragon, are looking for foreign teams to pick them up. And I guess Alive is probably going to be with Fnatic. So I don't know what will happen to Hart. I don't know where he's headed or what's going on there. But if people haven't seen it yet, you should really check out the note that I think it was either Golden or Dragon wrote to Boxer. I'll have to look. But it was really cool because it gives you sort of an inside look at, you know, what the atmosphere is like in the house. Yeah, it's from Golden. A hearty letter from Golden, goodbye Slayers. And it's really cool because he writes a little bit to each of the players in the house, and like you can really tell that it's more of a family than a team. And that's really cool.
No, that's really sweet, and that's I mean, Boxer's such a freaking legend, so I can imagine there'd be some parting words between anyone who was on his team.
Oh wow, yeah, this is quite the to Yu-Gi-Oh, to Min, to Puzzle. You know, you're gonna make it to top 10. Like, oh, this is adorable. It's very touching.
It's gut wrenching, and they're talking about a video game.
Yeah, it's what we call esports gold. That's what that letter is. Especially when he talks about Boxer at the end of it.
Yeah. Can you throw that in chat, Matt, so I can I'll link it to the chat room and also put it in the show notes. I missed that entirely, so I definitely want make sure people can find that.
There you go.
Okay.
It's great. Yeah, he Golden says also to my big brother Boxer. And he says, I want to apologize to you before rating anything else. So I guess he felt bad for leaving when Slayers was doing so well, but I think he felt like it was time to move on to something else. So they clearly parted on good terms, though. So got to be happy for him. Sad for Slayers, but happy for Golden.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear Alive's getting picked up too, because that was strange watching the Code S this week, and everyone's on these teams, and they're just Alive. And, oh, is that it? No team?
No team? Where's the team? Yeah. Yeah, I watched those games too.
Yeah, there was some controversy about it because I guess Coach Lee claimed that that Fnatic sort of poached Alive in the same way that they claimed that EG poached Puma. And I guess their discussions were only informal, though. So what actually ended up being the truth was, I guess Fnatic's translator was really good friends with Alive, and so they started talking about the possibility of him someday joining a foreign team, and I guess Fnatic was looking to pick up a Korean player. So, but Alive was still under contract. This is the problem. So Alive was looking for ways to get out of the contract and stop looking for loopholes and that kind of thing. And so he left TSL and then contacted Fnatic and said, I would really like to be picked up. But Coach Lee thought that the translator was, trying to poach Alive, and wasn't terribly thrilled. And you can see where both sides are coming from, right? If you were in Coach Lee's position, you probably wouldn't be happy if your player was looking for loopholes in his contract in order to try to get out of it. And you probably wouldn't be very happy that Fnatic isn't keeping a better leash on their translators, so to speak, right?
Right.
It doesn't look very good to have your translator conspiring with one of your, with another team's player in order to find a loophole in his contract so he can leave. But at the same time, I don't think you can fault the management of Fnatic, because it's not like they went to Alive and said, hey, you should find a loophole in your contract and leave.
Right. He wanted to leave, and he was going to do it. It's like, who here hasn't had the crappy job that they don't want to be at anymore, so they're looking around for another job that pays more while they're at that other job.
Yeah, and granted, right, Coach Lee is a pretty passionate individual. That guy works harder than just about anyone else, but there clearly are some team issues that need to be worked out, I think. And I think Alive and Heart are only the most recent indications of those issues. I really hope that they take care of things, because I would really like to see TSL, get back on its feet and start doing well again.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that. If you go to the Team Liquid post on what you're talking about, there's a lot of people oh, TSL, they're falling apart, yada, yada, yada. So
yep.
They've got a good track record. I agree with you. It'd be nice to see them kind of get on top again.
Well, and the Puma thing is still actually pretty fresh in people's minds. So that's what immediately everyone jumped for. And people love scandal, naturally. They're going to go where the drama is and hope it's as big as they want it to be.
Yeah.
Crafty translators, I say.
Just to the audio audience, I know we're getting a little bit of background noise, but hey, Matt's calling in from South Korea. There's not a whole lot we can do about that, so suffer through it.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's all right. It happens. Anyways, in other news, StarTale and Quantic have announced a partnership, which is kind of cool. There's a link to the QuanticGaming.com article. I'll read it here. They said Quantic Gaming is excited to announce an official partnership with renowned Korean StarCraft 2 pro team StarTale. The partnership will enable Quantic's players to utilize StarTale's pro gaming house in Korea to live and train with StarTale. As part of the new alliance, Quantic's Naniwa and Sase will compete with StarTale in the first 2012 season of the GSTL under StarTale Q. So this is really neat. They also said in addition to lending Quantic their housing and training services, StarTale will also compete with Quantic in foreign tournaments as their schedule allows, and vice versa. And they go on. There's some comments from people from Quantic and StarTale. So go check that out. It's that's very cool.
Well, it's good at any point when you can actually send players and give them somewhere to train and live. So. Yeah, good on them for making the deal.
Yeah, I'm glad it finally became official. Like, it was neat to have Naniwa in the house, and it was cool to see him streaming and stuff. I wish Destiny had been able to stay longer. It was sort of a publicity stunt almost, because no one's going to improve that much, after only being there a week. But
yeah,
but I'm really glad that the partnership is official, so that Naniwa and Sase can really benefit from it. And I hope that Destiny considers coming back to Korea, because I think it's really a shame that he had to leave so quickly.
I don't know. I mean, the Rocky montage only takes about 2 minutes. Who knows what he did in a week?
I mean, that's true. Same with the Goodbye Idra montage. I think that one will be legendary for all time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kyle, are you excited about this? Because I'm not. The GSL Season 1, 2, and 3 are going free to watch.
That is going to be a really interesting retrospective. I'm actually really interested to see, and they brought it up while they were advertising it at the GSL, but going back, watching Nesty in Season 1 just get smashed. And then Nesty, was it Season 2 where he completely smashed all the way to the end and lost one game in the finals? And that was it.
I think it was Season 2. I think people will be surprised too at how long Nada has been in the GSL for. Because he was Code S all the way from Season 2 of the Open up until now. This is the first time I think he's even gone into up and down matches. Was this last weekend. I don't know if I'm supposed to be spoiler-free or not. But
no. We talk about pretty much everything that's happened up to the day. So...
Yeah, so if it's happened, it's your own fault. You're listening to a show about it.
Even if Kyle and I haven't seen it, by all means, spoil it, because I only have so much time to watch games during my work week. So,
I think Nada's in up and down now.
Yeah, he did.
So I think he's in up and down.
Yeah. So, it's funny you said it'd be a cool retrospective, Kyle. I'd be excited, if they put up an actual retrospective that was kind of a montage, maybe an 8-minute long video kind of chronicling the previous 3 seasons. I'd be jacked. I would totally watch that. I'm not going to go back and watch 3 seasons worth of old games. I mean,
I'd love to see a side-by-side comparison of what just basic things like control and saturation and these sort of things, because there's got to be just Banshees just wandering in bases in Season 1, just hanging out for a bit, dying immediately. But nowadays it's getting to that point where they're oh, one Banshee, this is huge, if it dies, it's the most amazing thing ever.
You only need to know one thing about the first year of GSL. Marine King always gets second place. That's all you need to know.
Yes, Garrett always cries. I want to see Marine King win so bad. So damn bad.
This week. You did quite well this week. So.
Yes, he did phenomenal, and it was all TVT, which I love. I know our listeners are going to whine when I start to talk even more about the shows, or the matches I watched this week, because it was pretty much all TVT.
It's just a shame for him to become a more solid player. He had to lose his Marine King-isms.
Well, he's still very bio-heavy, though. He's very aggressive. I mean, that's what I always liked about him, was he was the most aggressive Terran to date. When he first came out, he was just insanely, we hadn't seen that kind of play. And I mean, he's still bio heavy. Yes, he mixes in mech, but he is still aggressive as hell.
Yes, he is. It's really impressive, actually, because he's grown so much as a player in such a short time, maybe more than any other player in the GSL. He's changed from a player who's gimmicky to a player who can preserve his style but still have a lot of variety in his play. And that is really, really hard to do. So props to Marine King.
Were you in the audience for the EG Idra versus Nestea match last week?
I was in fact.
Oh, you lucky
What was
bastard.
that room like?
There were a lot of Idra fans there. There were a lot of Nestea fans too. It was cool because like it was really interesting to see their faces because we sat like right off to the left of the crowd in like right behind where the camera guy is, and so like all the players walk right past us, and like it was neat because like Idra and Nestea and MVP and Huck and everyone like knows who I am, and so we would be the first ones that they would like react to when they walked by, like when they left their booth, like we were the first faces they would see. So it was really, it was really interesting to see their reactions. Greg was pretty disappointed, I think. I think he really hoped that he could beat Nestea. Nestea's EVZ is as strong as ever, man. I think Greg's got some pretty serious work to do if he wants back into Code S. I think he can do it, but it's gonna take some time, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but I also, you know, it's Idra. I mean, he's a hell of a player. He always comes back no matter how low he seems to go.
It was just such a shame to have basically one of his worst matchup, like back to back over and over again. I mean, that was rough. So you said there were a lot of Idra fans. Are the majority of the audience is Korean, right?
I would say that night 2/3 of the audience was white. So most of the time it's, you know, maybe, you know, 4 or 5, you know, white guys, and, you know, maybe 1 or 2 of them brought their girlfriend with them, and the rest are Koreans. But when foreigners, you know, are playing, especially when it's Huck or Idra, like, there are a lot of foreigners who show up. Like I said, it was probably, you know, 2/3. The crowd was probably 2/3 white that night. It's really cool, actually, to see that many foreign fans at, you know,
Nice.
at the studio live.
When you
Yes.
see, when I look behind Tasteless and Artosis, I see on the big screen in the middle, which I assume is what you're watching when you're there live, that is the Korean commentators. Is there anything for an English audience?
Well, because we're usually off to the left in the crowd, like, Cole and I end up sitting like right next to Tasteless and Artosis, so we can actually hear them. But like, there's nothing set up for foreign fans. It'd be pretty hard to do. I mean, think about it like this. Like, if you were to go to a movie theater in Korea, like, you wouldn't expect there to be, you know, like English subtitles or have the movie spoken in English, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, maybe they had like some, you know, the diplomatic headphones where like everyone's like, it's 5-second delay on what happened. You're like, what happened? What happened? Oh, and everyone's already yelling, or you know, at the opera, they have the bar scrolling at the top that says the English, you know, what's going on.
See,
Well,
I would just bring a netbook with GOM TV opened up, and I would just have headphones with Tastosis in my head, just like, yeah, you go, guys. Turn around. Good joke.
Yeah, we had a laptop with us the first time, and we had the stream on for a little while, but there's just too much lag. Like,
Yeah.
it's good though, because we watch it again afterwards, and so like we get to study the games more closely and actually listen to the commentary without like. It sounds weird, but it's nice to like watch the games for the excitement the first time around, and then go back and analyze them.
Yeah, well, it's almost like, you know, playing the matches. I mean, you're not. It's like going back and analyzing your replays. Because, I mean, you played it. Okay, adrenaline's over. Let's calm down and dissect this.
Exactly.
Now, you
Okay.
said you competed in the Code A. I hear that is the most brutal thing in the world. And I imagine it'd be like like a child singing competition. Like some kid runs off and vomits somewhere because he's too nervous. like mom's consoling one kid over here.
It was a little intense, I think, for some people. There were people who, you know, were sitting on the benches in front of the computers and stuff and clearly distraught that they had lost. There were a lot of people who, a lot of pros were there, like people who were already in Code S and stuff, like were there to support their teammates. I think we got a pretty good picture. Maybe I'll send it to you guys later if I can find it amongst all the pictures we took that day of DRG consoling some of the MVP guys, like on the benches after they had lost. But you know, I think in general it was a good experience. GSL didn't allow things to be streamed this time around, so I think there was a little bit less pressure. It was a little more informal. And although that kind of sucks for the people at home, I think it was good for the players because normally it's already such a high-stress environment with so much on the line. I think it was good to take a little bit of stress off some of the players, especially the foreigners. Like, it's a big deal for the Korean players, but it's a whole other story when, like, you feel like you've been training your whole life for one chance at GSL and you fly all the way out to Korea for it, and you're only here for a month. You know, like, that's on an entirely different level of stress. That's like
definitely
trying to qualify for the Olympics kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you said you made it to the second bracket?
Yeah, we made it to the second round, so that was kind of cool, I guess.
No, absolutely.
What was your what was the favorite match like you watched this week?
My favorite match that I watched this week.
Or from last week as well. Just pretty much, you know, Code S starting until now. What was your favorite, like, Code S match you got to go see?
Okay, so last night there were some really good Code S matches. I really liked, I think it was Nada versus Parting, maybe, from last night. That was really super long and epic. Or no, I'm sorry, it was Nada Keen that was really long and epic. And that was really cool. There were nukes and battle cruisers and, you know, all the things that make TVT the wonderful matchup.
Oh my god, is that the one where he nuke pushed like an inch at a time?
No, that was Happy, and that
okay.
That was the day before, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really freaking cool. And then I think it was Happy versus Brown. I know that Brown didn't do so well, but he, like, really impressively, like, they were both making reads that I didn't think would be possible off the information that they had. And they were both doing, like, all sorts of things that made it seem like it was a TBT from, you know, 2015 rather than 2012. Like,
the match I was talking about, I guess, was Alive versus I Am Happy.
Okay, yeah, it
Where I
was
was
Alive.
seeing those nukes.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So I watched that on lunch yesterday, I think. The match you're talking about, Kyle, that was nuts.
Yeah, it's funny to hear him say last night. I'm like, last night? You mean like last lunch? I mean, I watched my GSL at the same time. But this is like, what, 10 p.m. is usually when it goes till.
Yeah, so, yeah, right now, like, it's only 10 a.m. here, so it's morning for me, and GSL isn't going to start for another few hours, so we're actually going to go this evening to the group selection, which will be entertaining, I'm sure.
Nice. Oh, sweet.
So,
Kyle, what about you? What matches did you watch that you really enjoyed? I'm surprised to hear you even watched a TVT.
I did. Well, I mean, like we were saying earlier, those TVTs are getting, I mean, really mad cool. The second they take to the air, I'm kind of into it. But the siege tanks, except for the siege line in the Happy versus Alive game, having to push that back with nukes was just, oh man, that was incredible. But of course, I was rooting for my man, you know, DRG Dongregu, who had a lot of trouble. I mean, it was a great story this week as a fan for DRG, getting to see him get a little too suicidal with his mutas going up against MVP Genius. I mean, one of his teammates, but still, like, struggling against a toss, which happens.
He can't do well in GSL, though, because that would break the cycle. Like, DRG always does really well in GSTL and then fails hardcore in GSL every season.
Well, you know what the difference is? And you can see it in his eyes now. He has the confidence, I think, to be on stage now. And there was something about his team being with him that really, like, just empowered him, and he sucked energy out of him. But now he can hold his own. Yeah,
well, I think Blizzard Cup did that for him, actually. was interesting seeing him before Blizzard Cup and then seeing how he acted at GSL qualifiers. Like, he was clearly a very, like, different person. Much more confident and much more confident in his role as a leader on Team MVP. It was really cool to see him there, like, helping out, coaching, and comforting, the younger team members during qualifiers.
We about a month ago, we had Mork describe DRG to us, and it was basically what he got from him was, man, I shouldn't have gone out last night. Like 2 days ago, I had a beer. I shouldn't have done that. Like when he loses a game, it used to be like he'd just kind of take off his glasses and sit there, but now you see him getting emotional in the box, which shows that he truly has the confidence to be a personality now. So that game, versus MVP Genius with the MVP SC. So he's fighting all his own teammates for one, but the crazy fungal gambles he was doing, like he was far behind on 2 base versus 3, and he's like, I'm just going to fungal my way to victory. He didn't in one of the games, but it showed you how to come back out of that.
For sure. I think it's also cool because clearly MVP is developing as a team and a family and a community, like in a similar way to Slayers. So it's really neat to see the team maturing, so to speak.
No, definitely. And then, well, of course, I mean, I gotta share my love for the final game where he stays in Code S, which made me happy. But he rolls in with the Banes, the Fungals, and of course the big pile of Ultras.
Really, Kyle? I can't imagine what unit sold that for you.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I don't know.
Was it the 3-5 Ultras that got me so excited? I think it was.
I thought it was the drones.
Yes. Well, there was the wonderful joke this week. ZVZ, the game of drones, the roaches are coming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes me...
Oh, TLO's name on, I think it's on North America, is Game of Drones. Maybe it's on Korean.
I heard that, and I saw a wonderful Photoshop of someone, what's his name? Edart holding the sword, and someone had put his face on him. It was great.
That's Stark. Yeah, that's sweet. It's on Reddit right now. Actually, I think it's still up in the top 10.
And then actually today with the Code S, today for me, yesterday or last night for you, which I'm really happy the turnaround rate GOM TV has right now, because it used to be like 1 or 2 days before they get those videos up for us. But Group H, those are some really interesting PvPs.
Yes, that is for damn sure. So,
like, I am so I hate ZVZ, but I feel like thanks to watching Nesty and other players right now, I'm starting to get the hang of it. But PvP, man, that's a madhouse.
Yeah, PvP is in a lot of flux right now. People can't seem to make up their mind about whether 4-Gate should die a slow, painful death, or whether it should be, it should still be like the most common strategy. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
When you're getting down to that level of play, it's really like more than any other game, any other matchup, it's a battle of the builds. And almost a blind one too sometimes, which is kind of scary about it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because the ramp change had some unintended consequences, right? Like, it was good because it made Immortals a lot more useful, and it gave Protoss other options rather than just 4-Gate. But I think it's hard when you can't see up the ramp and get a glimpse of your opponent's army and, like, what the composition is, right? It makes it really difficult. And then you get the same problems happening, but sort of in a different way and on a different scale. It used to be that the matchup was really fragile because if you lost 1 or 2 stalkers, like, that was the end of the game because you'd always be behind in stalkers. And if you both 4-gated, which was most likely, the person with less stalkers is pretty much always going to lose unless they have micro that's way better than their opponent.
Which is probably thrilling for Brood War fans who know that one unit is super important. But as a StarCraft 2 fan, I like seeing the big piles of units and, the numbers and the fierce battles.
Yeah. The only, but now, right, like, it's fragile in a different sense because now it's really hard to like get the scouting information that you need in PvP, and so it's now all these build order losses. You see people 4-gate and the opponent blinks stalkers, and the 4-gate just dies terribly. It's not even close, right? Or you see people 4-gate, you know, and you see people 2-gate robo, or things like that, you know, like where it feels very rock paper scissory now instead of, which I guess maybe is a step up from 4-gate versus 4-gate, but I don't think the step up is that that great, that far.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it did have an interesting little strategy that was shown today with the going for hallucinations instead of going for the robo to get the sight on the high ground with your blink stalkers. That is a really neat idea.
I agree, especially because your opponent's much more likely to misread what's going on if they don't see a robo.
Yep, absolutely. So, good games. I'm really enjoying the GSL. So, you said you were going to the group nominations. What is happening with that?
Okay, so the way that it normally works is that, like everyone for I think it's just Code S. Everyone for Code S will show up, or maybe, I don't know which it is tonight. It's either Code A or Code S, but the point is the players show up, and then everyone is like sitting in the audience, and there's a big board, usually with either like that's magnetic or with Velcro on it, and everyone's name is on a little like token, and players take turns going up, and they can they choose like who they want to put in what group, or who they want to draw into the group that they've been assigned to. And there's all this strategy involved, right? Like especially if you end up having to draw one of your own team members into your group. So like there's been some drama in the past about it too, especially Jinro. Jonathan drew one of the OGS guys into his group as a joke, and then like tried to take it back, like after he'd put the token on the board, because he didn't mean for it to like to really choose that person, but they had like already like the Korean commentators had already like been talking about the choice for like 5 minutes before he said it was a joke, and he like argued with the GOM TV staff for like 10 minutes until they would let him like switch the choice.
Wow. That sounds like it'd be a real Price is Right situation where the player turns around and the audience is like, no, choose them, and
it totally is too, and it's hilarious because you get to see all this great like interaction between players and stuff. My favorite was when Idra left Korea, and he got to choose someone to put in his group. He like had MVP and Nest-T in his group or something like that before he left Korea, and like Clyde was giving him a really hard time, and so he drew Clyde into his group and then left Korea.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. I don't think Clyde will ever forgive him for that.
Awesome. Well, sweetness. Can I talk about my love for TVT now?
Well,
yeah, I'd like to talk about it with you.
I thought we shared it. I thought the nukes and the siege tanks. I thought we were done here. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Well, I actually wanted to ask. Well, you, Matt. You know, what is your opinion on TVT? You know, it gets a lot of hate, but earlier before you were on, I mentioned that I am actually quite an open fan of TVT. I really enjoy it. What is your? I mean, you play Terran, so I think I know the answer, but
I think TVT is the least fun matchup to play. I think out of all 6 matchups, it's by far the most fun to watch. I think it's definitely the most dynamic and the most exciting. I mean, think about it. What more could you ask for? Nukes, EMPs, cloaked ghosts, Yamato cannons, battle cruisers, seeker missiles, banshees, tanks, Thors. Like multi-drops. I don't know what more you could ask for. Like, it seems like the best of all worlds rolled into one matchup. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people complain that parts of, like, some games can be slow, like if people stay on tanks too long, but I think even that is really interesting, right? As you know, the game we were talking about earlier, you know, with the nuke push, Happy versus Alive showed you, like, just because people stay on tanks for a long time doesn't necessarily mean that the matchup can't be really exciting and have lots of nukes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't agree. It does get a little slow, but I think that's where if you play Terran and you're a big Terran fan, where it kind of comes in handy because you realize how tense those moments are when you're siege line against siege line. You're just like, oh, frick! If I make one pixel mistake, I am dead.
Yeah, to the audience, like, it may seem like there's not a lot going on during those times, but believe you me, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, yeah, exactly.
TBT is like walking on a tightrope in the same way that ZDZ is, because one false move and you're just dead. Like, yeah. I think that's the way it is for, like, all the mirror matchups, though. Like, that's just how it's going to be. And it
honestly, I mean, it should be, because
yeah.
It's a mirror matchup. It should be like a perfect balance. You know, they can throw exactly what you can throw at them.
Yeah, unless there was so many starter units that all were perfectly balanced and there were that many ways to web out, then things could... But then you'd basically have, like, spec races. And they wouldn't be Terran versus Terran. It'd be Sky Terran versus Ground Terran, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and that sort of stuff kind of happens in TVT. I guess you don't see Sky Terran very much. It's usually either, like, the three choices right now are mech, bio, and like marine tank, medevac, or marine tank Viking. But every once in a while, you still see people do that Iacoic stuff, where they, like, get a bunch of Hellions with blue flame, and then they get Banshees and Vikings. That's really interesting. We haven't seen it for a while. Why?
Oh yeah, MMA versus Xenio. Game one, there was just a nasty mech play from MMA. I mean, he just rolled over Xenio. So
the stuff of beauty, in my opinion, and the stuff of horrors in Xenio's opinion, probably.
Yes, indeed. But I mean, Xenio did a little better in game two. It was way less one-sided. Because MMA did that Marine Hellion drop, but it just failed miserably. But then he went on to win the game anyway, even though he was significantly behind in the beginning because of that failed drop. But he recovered beautifully.
Yeah, that match was a lose-lose, win-win sort of situation. It was like, I felt bad for both players because either way, like, it was either going to be a Liquid player or a Slayer's EG player that was going to lose. But it was either going to be a Liquid player or a Slayer's EG player that was going to win. So, like, either way, I would be both happy and not happy.
Yeah, it's no good. But, oh, man, what you going to do? It's a good set of games, though, even though the first game was one-sided, but everyone should go watch it just for MMA's play. It's beautiful. Absolutely. Sure. It's just the stuff nightmares are made out of if you're a Zerg player, so go educate yourself.
It's interesting. If there's one thing you walk away with, particularly this past week versus Terran, if it's mid-game, it is not worth the price of your army to destroy a base at all, or to get in there and destroy the SCVs. Like, it is not worth it.
No, that's true. Yeah, you think a mech army is scary when it's maxed. Try a mech army when you have absolutely no units.
Yeah, who was it? I think here I mean it was Alive versus Brown TVP in game one. Frickin' Brown, he made this really nice play. He pushed, like, all of Alive's main army away from his ramp leading into his natural, and then Alive just zigged. Brown went right up into Alive's natural and killed off all the first round of ghosts that had just popped. He killed them all off, and then he just made a beeline for the main and tried to do a bunch of damage. And he did. He managed to hurt quite a bit, but it didn't matter. Alive still took the win.
He ignored rule number 1 of TVP. Well, he ignored rule number 1 and rule number 2. Rule number 1 is never attack a planetary fortress unless the army is non-existent or on the other side of the map. And number 2 is don't engage on a ramp unless you have the concave. And he did both at the same time. There's no reason why he had to change where his force fields were located, right? Like, made this really cool play, like you said, and like sectioned him off into a corridor so that he couldn't even get to the bottom of the ramp. And then instead of replacing those force fields, he said, "Oh, fuck it," and just like force fielded the bottom of the ramp and lost the game. Like I don't understand why he thought that was an acceptable move. Like the only
I think he saw the ghosts and he was just like, "I'm gonna kill him." And I don't know. Like
I don't know.
He got a little too bloodthirsty.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but what you gonna do? It's been a good week of games. I'm not gonna get any more into my TBT love, but go watch them if you guys missed it. Go watch Marine King versus Alive. Go watch Marine King versus Happy. I had loved these games.
That's the word I was looking for. I think that the Protoss player in that game had what Day 9 would call a nerd boner.
There you go. Wondrous. That.
He saw it and just went for it. He saw the ghosts and he saw the SCVs, and it was just too much temptation for one Protoss player to handle.
Oh man, yep, wondrous. Well, sweet. Was there anything else to why don't we take a few questions for you, Matt, from the chat room before we move on and say goodbye to you? Are you okay taking some questions?
Sounds great to me.
Yeah, does anyone in the chat have a question about living in Korea for the past month or catching the GSL Live? Or for Matt Fink here, you can catch, which episode was that? 83? 84?
80, if only we had this internet-connected device where I can look up previous episodes.
You shut your mouth there.
Matt, Octane Pro, our StarCast producer, asks, Matt, how is your ladder progress coming, and what league and rank are you now?
Well, that's a sensitive subject. I feel like I've improved, but there's so much to do in Korea and so much to experience in Korea, and trying to put together this fundraiser has taken a lot of time from me. So I haven't been playing nearly as much as I would like to be, but I think that the time that I have been playing has been extremely useful and very efficient. I just wish there was more of it. More of it to go around.
Gotcha.
So,
do you feel that you've improved since you've gone over to South Korea?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Dumb question. Sorry, Octane. Sorry.
No, it was a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have, but it's been aggravatingly slow. It's odd because I came here with the intention of playing on a Korean practice schedule, and for all sorts of, granted, very good reasons, that hasn't happened, and in some ways that's really frustrating to me. So I look forward to the day when that can finally become a reality.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite food that has developed since you've been in Korea? Is there a restaurant or anything weird you've gotten accustomed to eating?
I don't know about weird. Cole and I both eat a lot of meat, so we both really like Korean barbecue quite a bit, but it can be pretty expensive unless you're going with a bunch of people. So I don't know. We eat a lot of Chinese food and stuff. I really like the Korean version of sweet and sour pork, tang siyu. It's like fried pork and sweet and sour sauce. That's really
that sounds good. Man, I just had dinner before the show too, and you're making me hungry.
I haven't eaten yet, so as soon as we're done, I'll probably.
Yeah, that's early over there. What time is it right there right now? 9 something. 10:20 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Do people idolize StarCraft players like big stars when they're just out about walking? Do they get recognized?
Does Boxer just get tackled by raving women when he leaves the stage?
I'm sure that Boxer does. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Boxer had his own security detail, but and I'm sure Nada is the same way, right? But for a lot of those players, they don't spend all that much time outside the house. They're literally sitting there doing what you would expect them to do. Playing and practicing StarCraft 10 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, 1 day off every 2 weeks. Like,
Damn.
it's not like they have all that much time to, like, be out and about.
Be flipping on the shades, getting photos, you know.
Yeah, like, I think it would be really, I don't know, it'd be interesting to, like, grab DRG and go out for dinner or something like that and see what people's reactions would be. Or MVP or an ST. Maybe MVP and ST, though, like, people would know them from Brood War, but maybe for DRG, it'd be really interesting to see what people's reactions would be, to see if, like, people recognize them and stuff. I haven't, like, gone out, like, with people who were, you know, who are, like, big StarCraft 2 stars but weren't Brood War stars. So, like, or who people wouldn't know from Brood War. So, I don't know, like, what the reaction would be to StarCraft 2 fame.
Yeah, I think Kyle would like to take DRG out to a candlelit dinner for two.
I could negotiate that one maybe. DRG seems like the kind of person who'd be into a candlelight dinner for two.
Yeah, but then you know you have to leave it at that. You can't tell him who it's with, and then he sits down, and then Kyle sits down, and he just goes, "Damn you, Matt Fink!"
And then we realize we speak different languages, and we have to shake hands, part ways. I'll never wash that hand again.
And Kyle would have to walk home in South Korea in a dress.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think you might get some looks on the airplane.
You think? By the way, Kyle, it was episode 82 that
Yes.
Matt was originally on. You can go check that out over on thestarcast.com or on our iTunes if you want to listen to the podcast version. Do we have any other questions?
Hipster says, you have a mother of a beard rocking that facial hair, Matt.
I think I've started an informal competition with Dario to see who cuts their beard first. So we'll see what happens. It'll probably be me, but so I think he has chosen not to cut his beard until he makes top 3 in a major. So hopefully that won't be too long.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's like a reverse samurai hairband thing, but with beards.
Yeah.
I think you need to keep the handlebar at least, Matt.
Oh yeah, that's styling.
I think the mustache is actually going to go here in the next few days. The beard will stay, but the mustache I think has to go.
Are you just going to do like a chin beard or like a chin strap?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably trim it up a little bit so that I don't look like a hobo. Well, I don't know. I kind of am a hobo. Maybe I should keep it. I don't know. We'll see. Should probably trim it before the fundraiser at least, if I'm going to be on camera.
Pentacraft says shave it when TLO does.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pentacraft, by the way, the person who sponsored today's episode, who's in Rome, Italy. So shout out to him for being awake at like 2-something in the frickin' morning or whatever time it is in Italy.
Are
So.
there hobos in Korea? I feel inclined to answer that question.
Okay, are there
Yes.
hobos in Korea? There is.
Yes, there are hobos in Korea, and they're helpful.
What?
We had one. We had like the subway system in Korea is easily the most wheelchair-friendly subway system in the world, no question. But a lot of the stations, because they were built a long time ago, don't have elevators. They have like these lifts that run along the railings along the stairs. So you like drive your chair onto this little platform, and then the platform like moves down, stays level, but moves down the track
Right.
that runs next to the stairs. And but you can't run it yourself. You have to actually get like one of the transportation people to come out and use a key to run the thing. And you have to hit a button, and you have to tell them what stop you're at. And we don't speak Korean. So it's really hard to understand the people on the other side of the phone. So we always have to ask someone to help us. And some of the people that I think are either living inside the subway stations or around the subway stations have been very kind in helping us in helping us get a hold of the transportation people to come help us. So we even in Germany had one guy who helped us order at McDonald's because we were having a lot of problems ordering, and the guy spoke some English, and we bought him a burger so that he would order for us at McDonald's. He was very thankful. So were we. So
yeah, let's say that's kind of like a win-win situation.
God, we get nothing but a change cup shook at us here in Chicago. So
in
nice.
the year and a half I lived in Los Angeles, I became so desensitized to the homeless population because there's so many of them and they were everywhere and they were so intrusive that I like by the end, about the last month I was there, anytime I'd see them, I just just go away. I need to work.
My mom grew up in the Bay Area, and she would always buy gift cards and give them to restaurants and stuff, and give them to homeless people instead of giving them money that might be used for alcohol and stuff like that. I thought it was a really creative idea.
Yeah, that is. That is a good way to. It's a good think about it.
Yeah.
So, well, anyways, before we let you go, where can people find you? And is there anything you'd like to promote? How's your fundraiser coming?
Oh man! All right. Well, there'll be some more news for the fundraiser, some more specific news for the fundraiser. Hopefully, after Kiev is done. I think, especially with everything that's been going on there and the difficulties that they've been having, I think both Bitter and Rotterdam have their hands full, and Carmack does as well, it seems. But there'll be a fundraiser probably the third weekend of February, and it's going to consist of a tournament and an after party. The tournament will run that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think it's the 17th, 18th, and 19th of February. These dates are still tentative, but most likely it'll be the 17th, 18th, and 19th of February. The tournament will be casted on ESL TV, most probably. Then the after party will run from when the tournament ends each day till when it begins the next. And the after party will be run on the Tilt Gaming official stream, which you can find at Twitch TV. And hopefully in the next few weeks you should see us streaming a little bit there as well. And you can definitely catch me this Saturday at, I think it's 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Central Time on In Control's stream. I'm going to be doing another lesson with him. So, yep. Cool stuff. We'll have a website up soon, too, for Tilt Gaming, our team. Hopefully that'll be up by the time we make the formal announcement for the tournament on Team Liquid. And you should check out State of the Game because I think next week In Control is going to be plugging the fundraiser there, and we'll have all the info. And I think JP will be plugging it, too, at some of the MLG stuff that's going to be happening over the course of the next few weeks.
Very nice. And you can update us as well on February 2nd when you come back for your next Korean update.
Sounds great.
So, well, very cool. Thank you so much for coming back on StarCast, Matt. I can't wait to talk to you again in, 3 weeks.
Yep. Sounds like a plan, man. Very excited.
Well, stay busy, man. Go enjoy some sweet and sour pork, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us, man. It was a pleasure.
Yep. See ya.
See ya. Well, all right. It's great having him back on. I love how he's like, oh, I'm jealous of you guys. You have MLG. I'm just like, no, you're
no, sir. No, sir. Stop that bumper. Stop that bumper right now.
Stop that drop. So, well, that's wondrous. That concludes Ion Esports. It's time for emails.
Incoming transmission.
Patching you through. The Yamato is loaded, and so am I.
Welcome to emails. This is where we love to get off topic and read your emails and ask questions from the chat room live. So first up, though, we have a segment from listener Sun King. He is back with Laws of 2v2.
Hey guys, I'm Sun King. Welcome to the Laws of 2v2, where we'll set aside some time to have a cozy discussion about the lighter side of StarCraft. Today we have Law 3, Respect the Better Player. And I know this one seems a bit lame. It seems light on strategy and heavy on analytics, but it's the issue I see time and time again, and perhaps the one that affects me the most. I've even heard it come up on the show several times. It sucks having someone tell you how to play StarCraft. But let me tell you this, it's absolutely crucial to your success with a 2v2 team that you place aside your ego and let the better player lead. Whether they're consistently stronger or just having a better day, let the player with the better form handle your rush, call the builds, and yes, let them control the DTs that you spent so much time preparing. Remember, while there's always someone better than you, there's also someone worse. Try to learn from your stronger partners and teach your weaker G-mates gently, because we all know how it feels. So, the third law of 2v2, respect the stronger player.
Thank you very much, Sun King, for that soothing segment, reminding me how much I love 2v2 and hate being told how to play.
Yep. But I'm such a macro player when it comes to rushes. If I have a teammate who's like, let's rush. No, shut up. Let's rush. I listen to him. I go when he says. And up in Diamond, he's usually right.
Yeah, it happens.
But every once in a while, I meet that guy who's just full of smiles, and he's like, what do you want to do, man? I'm like, I just want to macro. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get like 4 bases, and then we'll play. Love it.
Yeah, those are always really fun. We need to do some 2v2, Kyle. We haven't 2v2'd in so long.
No, we have not.
It's bad. It's bad.
I haven't 2v2'd in so long, actually. I've been working on my 1v1 too much, and when you get down to it, like I'm like, yeah, 2v2 was a lot of fun. I really loved it. I loved how it advanced my control and got me more into the game. But now I'm like, I'm pretty decent now. I think I'm ready to rely on myself. So that's why I've been playing so much 1v1 and enjoying it a lot. My bonus pool is gone. How's yours?
I usually take a cold shower to get rid of my bonus pool.
Moving on.
The programmer called in, and he called in a few months ago, told me I was ugly and hideous and a terrible human being. He wanted the call to apologize and talk about Lord of the Rings. So here's the most random effing call we've had in a while.
Hello, it's the programmer, and perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot. I was listening to your episode, and I heard you say that you were watching Lord of the Rings. And I have to say that my wife is a Lord of the Rings fan as much as I'd say we are fans of StarCraft. Yes, that much. And so, perhaps I misjudged you based solely on your appearance. And Kyle, I heard you say that Clayface was one of your favorite Batman villains. That's the same here with me. He's right next to Two-Face on my list. So, let me just start from scratch, if I may. Just wipe the slate clean and start with something new, and apologize for my crude and mean comments. And I just want to say I enjoy your show. And right after I'm done recording this, I'm going to go, and I'm going to leave you a 5-star review. Thank you guys for the show. And you be careful out there. You never know what's coming around the corner.
What, sir?
That guy is... I think he's outside my window. That's how creepy that call was.
I mean, it started good. And I agree. Clayface, awesome. Lord of the Rings, awesome. Nice wife, cool. You want to wear my face? What's this towards the end here?
Yeah, what's going on? It puts the lotion in the basket. That's what that voice sounds like. So, but thank you for calling and apologizing. I appreciate it, and we definitely appreciate the 5-star review. We always appreciate those. So, yeah, God, I feel violated.
But it's a new year. It's a new year. Let old wrongs be forgotten, and half the other things that Christmas songs say.
Right. I believe those are New Year songs, but hey,
whatever. There's only like 2 of them. This is normally where we play our weekly segments. We will be having those at the end of the show from now on, pretty much. They've started to go over time, and actually they continue to have a lot of work put into them. We don't want people to miss them at all. It's just this show with guests coming on. The guests obviously don't play too many custom games, so we just don't find anything to add, and achievements as well to that point. But please do stick around after the end of the show for our weekly segments, both Achievement of the Week and Modspot. Sandman apparently just had a blast with this week's Modspot, so definitely stick around for those.
Right, and it'll be more added over time as more people send in new segments and whatnot. The end of the show will become kind of this giant community party.
Exactly. So we don't want people missing out on it.
Right. So, anyways, Daniel writes in and says, "Hi, Garrett and Kyle. I'm a longtime listener, first-time writer. I'm one of your 30-plus listeners, and I really love your show." Not to say that we only have 30 listeners. He's saying he's 30 years and older. "Of all the podcasts that I listen to, yours always gets priority. My question is, what happened with the email bumper competition? There were some really good ones that you played for us, but now for the last couple of weeks, you've gone back to the old one, which honestly is actually not as good as some of the listener-made ones. I'd say rotate the bumper for this segment or use your favorite among the submissions. With much non-homosexual love from Sweden, NB not Switzerland, which Americans always seem to think." Well, thank you, Daniel. Yes, I have a very, very close friend of mine, Ben, who's actually from Switzerland, and I used to call him a Swede back in college, and he would get pissed.
Oh, man.
Well, not like raging pissed.
Like bad blood piss? Like
no, he'd just be like, I'm
you.
Swiss, you bastard, you American bastard. If he hears this, he's not going to be offended. Ben, of course, being the one who created our forums. So anyone listening to this within the sound of my voice who has used our forums, go give him a Swiss pat on the back. So he's getting married
Swiss
soon.
Cake roll.
What?
Swiss cake rolls. Those are good.
Oh yes. I got a case of them for Christmas from my boss.
Case.
A case. There was like 4 boxes in it.
Wow.
I'm on my last 2 packets.
I always
fatter as a result.
I always eat off the chocolate covering and then roll them out.
I've never done that. I'll try that with my last package.
Yeah, but it helps you savor them. I mean, if you've got 4 packages, why not?
Yeah, I've just been wolfing them down.
Like one in each cheek. Let's get this done.
Yeah, pretty much. At one point, I actually had one in a drawer at work. So when I was hungry, I just, Swiss cake rolls, which I've never done, ever.
Well,
I've never
had. It's got to
had.
be like Twinkies. I doubt they're going anywhere.
Yeah. Although Twinkies Hostess going bankrupt.
Oh, really?
Yes. Although they have said that they're keeping the Twinkies alive. I don't know what's going on. If they're going bankrupt, if they're selling it off to another company. I don't know.
It won't taste the same. I haven't had one in a long time. To answer Daniel's question, it stopped being a competition because we stopped getting submissions. I think altogether we had 3. And that wasn't enough to choose.
And my favorite was Hipsters because he sang and played guitar.
What? No, that wasn't Hipster.
That wasn't Hipster?
Did the unit quotes in Spanish. I thought...
Oh, you're right. Who sang and played guitar? Oh, that was... Oh, you're right. Jai-Young. I'm so sorry. Jai-Young. Yes, I need to dig that back out. I lost them.
And something about Morph being a dork and you're a weasel or something? You're a cool ferret. That's it.
Cool ferret. Yes, the weasel does not rhyme with Garrett. So, yes, it was Jai-Young. I'm so sorry, Jai-Young. He'll probably send me hate mail. But
well, we'll have to dig that one out.
Yeah, we do. I lost all of those because I had them in a folder and then I cleaned out my computer and it wasn't properly marked and I can't find them anymore. So, do you have them?
We have them on the shows on iTunes. We can.
Well, I guess we can always go back,
or we can ask. Oh, hey, if you already sent one, then you can send it again. But yeah.
Yeah. So, but hey, if you want to make an email bumper, we'll always play them as long as they're short and not profane. Yes.
You only have 10 seconds. Be as profane as you can. No doubt.
No, don't. Ninja Squared writes in, says, love the show, love the guest. Question. Is it the responsibility of people who want to grow the esports scene to encourage non-traditional gamers, women, minorities, etc., to join in? How would that look like? What does that even mean? How would that look like?
Oh, I mean, what would it look like?
There you go. He says, for example, should more have been made out of BlizzCon Cannibal Corpse incident? Should MLG have made it into an issue? I mean, whenever someone uses derogatory language in one of my games, I politely ask them to stop, and if they don't, I break the team killing, cheese, etc. Thoughts?
You can't stop the hate. Like, I think responding with hate is, first of all, just a horrible practice. So, if you can manage it. Like, I mean, if they're just being outright rude, yeah, sure, team kill, whatevs. If you're playing a 4 and, like, one dude is a huge jackass, like, go for it. But, man, when it comes to MMOs, when it comes to StarCraft, half the time, I just stay quiet.
Yeah. As for the Cannibal Corpse incident, I didn't think that was a big deal. Like, that was always a video that had been, like, around our circle. We just thought it was funny. We never really took offense at the point that the guy was saying the word fag in the YouTube video. Like, I don't know. I always thought it was just funny that the lead singer of Cannibal Corpse was so passionate about playing undead.
Now, was this at the last BlizzCon?
Yes, this is at the most recent BlizzCon, the one you and I both attended.
But I didn't attend the concert because I wasn't much for the music, and I wanted to play Heart of the Swarm many times while the line was short.
See, well, I still attended the concert. I watched all of level 85, whatever the hell they are now, Torn Chieftain, which they had the lead singer of Cannibal Corpse come out and sing the For the Horde song with them, which
But it was bleeped when they showed it on the screen, right?
No.
No, that was in
the F-bomb.
Story.
The F-bomb was bleeped, but not the derogatory homosexual slur.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't know. I don't get offended at stuff like that.
That is so tough to say because it's almost the rage comic, the nerd rage, like, you mad, bro? Like, that's half of a nerd culture and nerd comedy almost. I don't personally. I think it's blind hate and it's dumb to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
they didn't bring him on because he was making fun of gay people. They brought him on because he's the lead singer of a death metal band, and it's the Blizzard, faux metal band.
Yeah,
and he's a fan of WoW. So I don't know. They could have just not played the video, I guess. But then people might wonder why they're having the Cannibal Corpse lead singer come on. I don't know. I didn't think it was a big deal. I always thought that video was funny as hell.
Yeah, it's tough to say. This is something I'd like to hear listener reactions to if you want to send in your opinion of this. If it is, in fact, if you have friends that have been scared away from communities because of these statements. I mean, I've been trolling BattleNet since I was like 14. That was like Friday night. We would get in BattleNet 1.0 and we would troll people in the chat rooms and be little jackasses. It was fun to do. And
yeah,
well, I mean,
this is live. When that came up, we did the same damn thing.
And there's kids doing it right now. I mean, and that's why you can't get mad at them for it because you were there once.
You were. It's a rite of passage.
Yep.
So, but yeah.
I want everyone to be invited to esports. It's a shame that anything should scare anyone away.
Yeah, I think we should encourage just everyone to join. I don't think we should single people out like, specific minorities, women, etc. I don't think we should get really specific because then we just look like we're trying too hard and we look like, because what if they're already into it? Then you look like, oh, you're this sect, so you're probably not into it and you just look like an ass.
Yeah.
I think we should just be open. We should be accepting, which is how I believe the world should be. So.
And I mean, we had the girls of StarCraft on, and that, if nothing else, showed that they're there. There's women gamers. I found a website called Gay Gamer this week when I was looking up things, and it's just people talking about like Mass Effect and the gay options that are available in it. And hey, I mean, I was playing Dragon Age, and Zephyrin offered me a massage, and I thought it was just going to be a massage, so I agreed to it, my little dwarf character. And before you knew it, I was watching a full-blown sex scene with my Grey Warden, which I dubbed Gay Warden, from that moment on. And like it was, I mean, there was the heterosexual sex scene in that game, but the homosexual sex scene, like that was intense. Like, oh man, that was a show.
Wow, I always wonder who gets those jobs animating, like Watchmen, for example. The giant blue dude. Who got the job of animating his penis? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, who had to sit there all day and say, okay?
Probably the interns, let's be honest here.
Yeah, that was passed down.
Yeah. Hey, you're on giant blue penis duty. Okay, I'm in the credits. Moving on. Ben writes in, he says, hey, Garrett and Kyle, 2 questions. What does a graphic designer's job entail? It would be nice to know how you honed your skills. And what led you guys to your current jobs today? Voice acting and graphic design, I think. Been a fan since episode 23. Still love the show. Peace! Well, I'm the graphic designer, so I guess this is directed at me, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's very open. The job entails, it's going to be different wherever you work. The first place I worked was a sign company, so I was designing signs. But again, that was a very open studio. We also did like car graphics and window graphics and menu boards and just tons of random crap. So that job, I designed so many different things. I even had because I even did logo design because people would come in that would need, they wanted the whole package. Like, I need my car wrapped, I need a business card, I need a sign, and they didn't have anything. So I would design pretty much their whole branding from the ground up, and that was really fun. I always enjoyed doing that. But then don't get excited, because then you get the really not exciting things of, here's my business card that I got from Kinko's, and I need this logo blown up to a billboard size. It's just like, oh my God. It doesn't work like that.
No, that's pixels, lady. Like those, when you just drag them and drop them, that's not how this works.
No. So I'd have to go in and trace it, and sometimes it was cool. I would talk to them if we were slow and I had enough time to actually talk with the client. A lot of times it was, don't let the designer talk to the client. We don't want them to know how much stuff the designer can do, because we want to get these jobs in and out. But every now and then, if it was slow, I got to talk to them, and sometimes I could talk them out of the piece of crap logo they got from Kinko's, and I would just design them a new logo, and everything would look awesome. So it was an ebb and flow. Now I do like book layout. I do a lot of pagination and tedious text laying out, but it's a much better job. So yeah. Kyle, what about you? How'd you get into voice acting? I guess I didn't say how I got into graphic design. I'll come back to that. But how'd you get into voice acting?
Well, I mean, when I was younger, I was, of course, really into cartoons. And in my generation, which makes me sound old, but I'm not really, anime voiceovers were, well, to say it frankly,
awful,
really bad. So growing up, I was like, hell yeah, I want to do this. I'm going to fix this industry. Well, it kind of fixed it. What?
Kakarot.
Oh, yes.
Just yelling Kakarot for 20
all
minutes.
the time. Oh, yeah. No good. The little girls still like nails on a chalkboard in anime.
Yeah,
but at any rate,
Gohan, I hate that actor.
Yep. Well, at any rate, that's where I originally pursued. That is an extremely competitive market. I'm still working on getting into that. So I do company training videos for the most part. So, and this can be anywhere from make sure you fill out Form B and submit it to your boss in level C, and just boring things like that, to the new hire things that you may have, which are kind of fun, the welcome to the company and all that. Sadly, to inspire people to do voice acting is kind of hard these days because of the at-home internet market. There are a lot of people who think this is their ticket to fame and their ticket to working from home. You can have a job with your speaking voice sitting at home. No, it really doesn't work that way.
I love that you dropped right into announcer voice for that.
Well, that's what they do on these websites. Voices.com. Hi, welcome to Voices.com. You too can have a rewarding career. No, you don't just sit there and get it done. It's, again, like many acting industries, about knowing people, about knowing which companies are looking for training videos.
It's not just acting industries. It's every industry. It's who you know, and having the right connections and talent. I mean,
yeah.
You either have to be in this, kind of goes back to the art field and everything. You have to either have to be a friggin' prodigy or have a few connections to really make it work.
Or with any career, you can kind of just Shatner it, which he talks about in one of his books, where you just put 1,000 hours into it and you just go and you keep doing, and you're just going to keep getting better. And the wonderful thing about that is you will make your own industry. And that's really what being an entrepreneur is about these days. It's not so much about investing or being in the right place at the right time, but using the internet to make your own products and make your own opportunities.
Indeed. I would very much like to drop my graphic design jobs and just do this full time.
Yeah.
I'd like to add a few more shows on, podcast, Snapcast every day during the week. It'd be fantastic. But
yeah, I mean, I went to college for theater and communications, planning to go into radio. And when I got out in the radio industry, it had tanked so hard, which is why
radio sucks.
Well, that's why I got involved in podcasting in the first place. I'm just very happy that I get to talk about things I'm passionate about on these shows.
Yeah, indeed. And then I got into graphic design just because I've been drawing since I could hold a pen or a pencil. Like, I can't remember a time where I wasn't drawing. Every Saturday morning I'd sit there with my sketch pad and I would watch the Ninja Turtles and draw the Ninja Turtles. I would watch Power Rangers and I would draw Power Rangers.
Did you ever watch that PBS show with the drawing guy and you draw along with him?
No.
No, you had cable. You were too good for that.
Yes, I had cable, and
No,
I hate art shows. Art shows are boring.
Oh, I would always make stop motion videos and do voices for them when I was younger with my digital camera. And yeah, always voices, always sound effects everywhere I went.
Yep. Yeah. So anyways, eventually I went to college for art. I studied illustration at the Ringling College of Art and Design in Sarasota, Florida. Went to Los Angeles, never got a job, came back, and immediately got a job as a graphic designer. So yeah, that's how it happened. So chat room, questions, comments, anything you'd like to ask us, anything at all, StarCraft related, non-StarCraft related. I love the artists in our chat room. They're just like, hey, you get that jellyfish to 1920 by 1080 yet? Like, you can tell who here actually has worked in the industry.
Oh, dude, someone took AutoCAD class. I took that in high school. That was kind of hard.
AutoCAD is kind of a soul-sucking piece of software.
But I had a cool teacher for it. He looked like Colonel Sanders and would always say, hey, buddy. And then you'd be like, hey, Mr. whatever his name was, how's it going? Super duper. Super duper. And he'd always repeat himself as he wandered off. Amusing.
Awesome. Oh, Captain Noobing does AutoCAD for a living. Nice, man. I missed out on a really good paying job because I didn't know AutoCAD. Maybe I should talk to you. So any questions at all? Nope. Just Octane Pro telling me he hates me because of my graphic design skills. So Octane Pro again being our producer.
Well, it's a very... Everyone, I think, is jealous of any sort of skill where you can immediately translate your ideas into something, like musicians who don't play percussion and artists. No diss to anyone that plays percussion, but man, I used to play drums in a band, and you just couldn't make a song by yourself. It sucked. It's like, hey, check out what I've been working on, Mom. Oh, that's nice, honey. Didn't sound like anything, but Mom, that's the Star Spangled Banner. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah. What kind of headphones do we use is the question.
These are studio headphones. Sennheiser?
I'm currently wearing Sony noise-canceling headphones because they were like a fourth the cost of the Bose ones, and I use a Logitech headset with a microphone when I'm playing games and talking instead of this kind of big setup I have here for the podcast. So
sweet.
Yeah, very cool. Octane Pro says he uses the SteelSeries Siberian V2 headset. Octane Pro, you have like the nicest shit.
Yes, he does.
Everything. He even has gunner glasses. I don't know anyone who has gunner glasses except for In Control. And I don't know In Control. So, yeah. Yet. Soon I'll be able to say that when he comes on the show in a few weeks. I'm very excited to talk to him. And Machine next week. I can't wait to have Machine on. I'm sure you're way more excited than I am. So, anyways. Well, that does it for episode 86 of StarCast. As always, thank you everyone who left us 5-star reviews in the iTunes store. In the US store, we had a 5-star review from Bays Leal. Thank you very much. And thank you to I Am Diego, who sent us a very kind email this past week.
Yeah.
We always appreciate, the positive words. And if you've been on our Team Liquid thread recently, there's a lot of positive stuff over there. So everyone who has left us a comment on Team Liquid telling us that the show's good and you appreciate it, thank you. Thank you all, because it's nice to hear this stuff.
That has been a real pleasant surprise for us because it's Team Liquid. It's a pro scene.
Yeah,
we're just like, we're afraid of it.
Yeah, we're very, we're very open and noob friendly. So we thought we were just going to get tanked on that site. So thank you all very much for the positive reinforcement. So as always, if you want more StarCast, go to thestarcast.com. Catch StarCast live Thursday nights at 7 p.m. EST. At least that's next week. After that, we're switching to Wednesdays at 7 p.m. EST on Twitch TV/StarCast Show. Check out our amazing StarCraft 2 community at thestarcast.com/forum. You can email the show at starcastshow@gmail.com or call the StarCast line at 941-882-0281. Download the StarCast Android app for your Android mobile device and follow us on Twitter at the StarCast. You can follow my personal account at Garrett Art, and Kyle is on Twitter at Kyle Ferguson. Check out CVO's YouTube channel at youtube.com/teamcvo. And don't forget about the King of the Hill tournaments every Monday. The next one's going to be Monday, January 24th, the day before my 25th birthday, I might add. It's going to be
congratulations. You're a fourth way done.
With life? Am I going to live to 100? I'm kind of excited about that.
That's how I picture it. I've always figured I'm going to live to 100.
Oh, I figured I'd be dead by now, but who knows? That's again, the King of the Hill tournament is on the 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go sign up on the StarCast forums under the tournament section. The tournament will be streamed live on our StarCast channel on twitch.tv/StarCast show. And also, if you missed it, you can catch Kyle and I on Forecast on twit.tv. The VOD is up now. With Tom Merritt and Scott Johnson talking about our predictions for the future. It's quite exciting getting on that show. I'm a big Twit fan, so it was cool to be on one of their programs.
It was a lot of fun being on that show.
Yeah, I had a great time. Kyle, what about you when you're not doing StarCast? Where can people find you?
You can find me over at Biggest Fan, which is still going to be delayed, sadly, so we will let you know as soon as that is back.
You're roboting like crazy.
Oh, really? Am I better now?
A little bit.
A little better now?
You're understandable, which is better.
Huh. How strange. All right, then. Can I
go now?
Okay. All right. Biggest Fan. You can catch it. It's still around. It'll be coming out soon. Disney, we should be recording it tomorrow, all medical procedures barring. And as always, there is the link in the forums of our site to check out the original 50 episodes. So you can satiate your hunger for Biggest Fan with that in the meantime.
And I would argue that show is way better to listen to if it's an older episode than our show is, because it's not as topical.
Yes, well, a new show does tend to run itself out rather quickly.
Yeah, although I do like watching old Jon Stewart's because it's always funny. Anyways, don't forget to check out our sponsors, Doghouse Systems, for the best gaming computers anywhere. And if you use the code StarCast or Biscuit, you'll get double memory on your next rig. I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one soon. I'm getting there. So I can't wait. And you better damn well believe when I do get my Doghouse system, there'll probably be a video up on YouTube and I'll be like, look at it. It's so shiny. I can't wait. But again, StarCast or Biscuit, go to dogcastsystems.com. Get your next rig there. You'll get double memory and you will not be disappointed. And again, stick around after the show for our StarCast community segments and breaking news. The King of the Hill tournament next Monday on the 24th. Apparently has a SteelSeries Siberian V2 headset up for grabs as the prize. So go join that. Have a good time. And up next, Internet Dave, Sandman. See you all next week. Good luck. Have fun.
Take care.
Hello StarCast, this is Internet Dave bringing you the achievement of the week for this week. Now, I was doing the campaign walkthroughs, but I decided I'm going to drop those for now, considering the fact that the campaign is over, and instead I'm going to go back to doing normal achievements, such as Unbreakable. Now, I know this one is pretty easy, you gotta get 40 kills with 1 unit. I mean, a lot of the achievements are really just something that you'll end up doing, but you don't realize that you did it. Anyway, the goal here, Unbreakable, is to kill 40 units with a single unit in one league game. League game meaning on the ladder, you can't do this with your friends, and you can't do this against an AI. It's always that distinction between the types of achievements. I would recommend Colossus versus Zerglings, due to the fact that Colossus burn light units to hell. Works well against Marines, except Marines can shoot you when you're anywhere, and they're OP. Like, I lost a game. Anyway, Thors and SCVs. Repairing your Thors with your SCVs while you're taking on Lings or Mutas because they just can't get to the Thor, they can't do enough damage, the Thor just lives and lives and lives. The trick here, Tier 3 units. Tier 3 units are very powerful. Against Tier 1 units, they pretty much wipe them out. And especially with really good counters, tanks on high grounds versus light units, broodlords versus ground units, it's absolute chaos when that happens. And you know what? Really easy way to get this achievement. Anyway, I'm going to continue to try and work my way through these. I'm running out of achievements, unfortunately, so I might need to come up with a new shtick. Anyway, if you have any more suggestions for achievements, send them to internet_dave16@yahoo.com. And until next time, this has been Internet Dave.
Here's hoping I didn't put you to sleep.
Sandman, what did I tell you about talking?
Hey StarCast, Sandman here with the Modspot episode 21. I'm still recording the segment on my small laptop even though I got my gaming computer running, simply because my laptop has stuff that I know how to use, but hopefully I'll make a transition over to a better mic soon. But until then, let's do this. Also, I can walk again, which is pretty cool. Today's mod is a game called Virus Infection, brought to us by a dude named Velix. That's right, some nice V alliteration there. We're learning English. V. I actually don't really like the V sound, so I'm going to stop making jokes about it. The map is a guy named Bob and his pet cat. That's right, the map has actually been shaped into a person and his pet cat. The guy's name is Bob, the pet cat's name is Niku. As a virus that starts in one of Bob's extremities, you are here to kill them both. Players start off in the bloodstream of Bob's arms or legs. They are given 3 basic builder cells in the form of drones that are then prompted to move into his cells to infect them and begin getting resources. The early game is all about getting from cell to cell and infecting as much as you can without being detected by the major body defenders. Although there are ribosomes that check cells from time to time for infection, you do have basic defender units, also known as, zerglings, or attack cells, that you can build that can keep them away. These covert operations are made possible by the beating heart. Every few seconds, the enemies and the heart turn red or blue. When they are red, they are active and able to see and attack all of your units. When they're blue, they're completely dormant and you're free to do as you please. However, if Bob does certain activities such as jogging, the heart rate will speed up or slow down if he's sleeping, so you have to be able to judge these and keep an eye on his activities. The aim of the game is to kill Bob. So what do? You have to build your units up to kill Bob. But that's more difficult than it sounds because he will take pills and go to the hospital and get shots, which means that the end game comes when you get a bacterial infection, which cannot be helped by most of the things that he's taking into his body. But wow, I'm running out of time for my segment. This is pretty intense. I mean, there's so much material in this game. I recommend you go and play it yourself. Also, check out my video mod review of this exact game. It's more in depth at my YouTube channel, youtube.com/sc2modspot. This gets a 4.5 out of 5. Until next time, this has been Sandman. Here's hoping I didn't put you to sleep. And finally, I found a mod that is really, really good.